Welcome. Thank you for coming today to our Pilates mat progressions. So we are doing teaser today, which is such a fantastic exercise, and I can't wait to break it down for everybody. But just a quick introduction from myself. I'm a master trainer. I've been teaching Pilates for almost 18 years now, but fitness has been in my life ever since I was a kid. So I've been moving my whole life, and Pilates was a great integration into my movement world, especially coming from gymnastics background. And it's really nice to see the similarities between Pilates and gymnastics and bring them all together, right? So we'll be drawing a little bit from that today, but really kind of diving deeper into the benefits of the teaser, Pilates, and how all of this stuff kind of comes together, right? So for me, with Pilates, it's such a fantastic point to and humbling at times as well. So I can't wait to share all of this with you and move forward into the work. All right, so let's go around real quick and just kind of do a quick introduction for each person, and you can just let us know your name, where you are, as well as where you are in your Pilates practice, and how Pilates came to you. That would be great to know, or what you're looking to get out of today. So who wants to go first?
Robin, I can go first.
Okay, Anika's gonna go back.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I am in Michigan, around the Detroit area, and I forget what else you actually said. So
your name.
Oh yeah, Anika. My name is Anika, and I am in Michigan, around the Detroit area, and I'm here to. Did you say to do while we're here today?
Yeah, why you're here today, what you're looking to get out of it, and where you are in your Pilates right now.
Oh, okay. Yep. And so I'm here today because I just want to get a refresher directly from a teacher instead of just watching stuff online, to learn a little bit more about teaser. I've been observing a few classes, and everyone's progressions are different. And I'm also learning that teaser just has so many different variations of how you can actually progress in the workout, in the exercise itself. So that's why I'm here today. In Pilates, I've only been doing it really this year. So actually aggressively, once I signed up for your the mat teacher training certification. So haven't been doing it very long. So
Good. Well, you're diving right in. So I love it. It's good to get all these little pieces of each exercise, because it's one thing to practice the whole repertoire, right? But it's another when you actually go into each exercise and dissect it and do the drills behind it to get better at that exercise. But not just better at doing it yourself, but better at being able to teach it to your clients. Definitely. So who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay, great.
I am Robin. I am right outside of Chicago, between Chicago and Indiana. I came to Pilates from the personal training, group fitness realm. I needed some extra CEUs on a conference one weekend, and I took the class, and I was like, okay, I like this. I also have a gymnastics background, so that was appealing to me. Um, I've been teaching for a few years because I had basic certifications, but then I just got recently certified in mat and reformer, and Lincola was my master instructor. Yay! So I got that done, and I'm here today because teaser is one of my favorites, and I also like to see how things happen, like what made it end up that way. So I'm excited to see the progression.
Great. I'm excited to put them out there and share them with everybody too. At least, and Nika was saying, everybody has different thought process behind progression, and then the choreography that comes to teaser is totally different. But the point of all of this is really to just give you the tools so that when somebody comes to you, you can look and you can say, oh, wait, maybe we need to try this. Because if you've seen them move through other exercises and you get to teaser and you're like, oh, they can't do it. And you're like, okay, well, let's go back and examine those other ones, right? And see what maybe those things could be a little better in some of those exercises to help you get to that teaser, right? And so do you want to go, Jennifer, next?
Certainly, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm actually on the road. That's my screen being the way it is. So thank you for understanding. It's
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
to
no
meet
worries.
everyone. And I've been practicing Pilates since 2000, though, like Nika, I'm refreshing my repertoire as far as the skills, the exercises, the core exercises, and all the fundamentals that go behind each one. Like today, that's why I'm here, is to remind myself of how to get into teaser, because that's something I don't always focus on. I focus on other more simplistic or more classic Pilates moves as I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to say without focusing on the background here. Um, and taking the certification through Lincola, like the rest of you, I'm just excited to find out how to incorporate the small movements into making them become the full movements that Joseph Pilates began with so many years ago. So that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for being here. I know exactly. It's like, it's wonderful to just like piece it out and like go through all those little things and see how they fit together for sure. So let's kind of start diving into a little bit just about the presentation and, things that we'll be covering today for the short hour that we are together, right? So we're just defining that purpose of what progressions can be and what they are, as well as just kind of how to prepare for your class, getting them in that mindset, and just taking a peek at that classical order, the shapes that come from the exercise, as well as the pre-Pilates things that are useful when it comes to learning teaser, right? So just thinking about the shapes. First thing I like to think about is like, if you take a look at many Pilates exercises, they all have there's so many that have the same exact shape. So looking at that one version, maybe your client's able to do it and it's attainable for them. It's like, okay, well, you can do it in this place, but you're having trouble in doing this place. Like I was saying earlier, like, well, let's examine this and what is missing, like what's the difference, how is gravity pulling on you that's changing your ability to do this exercise, right? Maybe they're tight, weak, or need some stretching or strength in different areas. So you can really examine and break it down from those other exercises if they're not able to do that one full exercise that is your goal, which today our goal is teaser, right? So just thinking about what progressions are and priming your class, right? So letting your class know what to expect when you're going into it allows them to honor their body and not their ego and move where they need to be that day. Because every day is different. Even if you're like an Olympic athlete, all the way down to somebody who's just starting, every day is different. Like some days you just maybe don't want to do the full version of an exercise. Sometimes you need to peel it back and start at the beginning. And examine those first components deeply and at a different mindset. Now that maybe you're at that Olympic state, you're going back to the beginning and really starting to think about those little components of it. Makes you even better at doing it, right? So progressions help your students, right, choose what level they need that day, right? Helps them stay consistent in their practice because they know that they can come to class and they can do the modified version and not feel judged that they are not doing the full version of an exercise. And then they also helps them learn modifications for that instance. Who knows, maybe they're not feeling good, maybe they got hurt or something. So they get to learn all the different modifications and versions of an exercise so that they can come to class and stay consistent, right? So, and then also lets them take control of their practice and feel like they know where to go and what to do throughout each pace of your workout, right? And then what it helps with teachers, right? It allows you to teach an all levels class. And regardless of a class being intermediate, beginning, intermediate, or advanced, they're still all levels because my beginning is not the same as somebody else's beginning, or my advanced is not the same as somebody else's advanced for my body and who I am. So it allows you to teach all levels, right? And then introduction to different concepts. So when you're ready to like say, oh, let's learn about a little bit more about those Pilates principles and like maybe pick a principle for that day that you're going to focus on. It allows you to do that within the progressions. And then you can also introduce new exercises. So if they get to a point when you're introducing those progressions and they're stopping there, like your clients can't go beyond this one progression, then you know that that's where that's going to be. And then maybe you're not going to teach that full version of that exercise a day, but you're working up towards it. So it allows you to give them those new exercises and take them step by step through it instead of throwing them right into it and hoping that they do a really good job at it, right? So, it doesn't might turn into a hot mess. And then, that comes down to the next one, introducing complicated choreography or new choreography to your students. So it helps you go step by step, just like in a dance class. They don't teach you the whole dance right at the beginning with the choreography. You go step by step until you get to the full move. So same thing, that's what progressions are, right? Breaks things down. And then it lets you pivot your teaching, as I was saying earlier, based on your client's ability. So you know that this is the point they're stopping at, I'm not going to go forward. And then it also helps you get your clients stronger because they can do drills at that place that they are. And then as the more they do those drills, they get stronger and they're able to move forward to the next progression and step to get to where they want to be in that exercise. And they're still getting a good workout. So I think that's one thing that people can get hung up on is that, well, we're doing the same thing over and over again. You know what? Call it a drill. That's what you do in gymnastics, man. You do the same thing over maybe 100,000 times before you move on to the next thing. And you get in that mindset that that's the way it's going to be so that you can get really good at it. It's like, if you're not good at something, keep doing it. Don't stop. Keep doing it, right? And that's, I think, why Pilates is a very humbling type of exercise, is because it definitely can put you in your place, and it really does show your weaknesses and flaws. And not everybody wants to see that in their bodies. But if you want to get stronger and get better at an exercise, you have to expose those things. So taking it slowly as a teacher with people on how many things you're going to expose people to that they can't do in one class, progressions do a really good job of doing that. So it lets them choose their own adventure, work at the level they are, get stronger at that level so they can move to the next. All right, good. All right, so just taking a peek. So where in the classical order does teaser lie? Look, it's all the way number 22. I went to the next slide. I didn't want to do that. So number 22 is where it is, right? So all the way down there. So you're thinking on the scale of progressions, hundreds, all the way to number 22, teaser. So there's a lot of things that somebody needs to be able to do. And this is, of course, the full like advanced order with everything in it. But there's still a lot before somebody gets to teaser, right? Out of all those 34 exercises that exist in the classical flow. So when in the sense of all the exercises that come before it, those are all the concepts that need to be learned before somebody can even attempt to do teaser, right? In the thought process of going through the flow of Pilates, right? You need to be able to do all the things before, right? And so just to throw it out there to get a little crowd participation here. What exercises, kind of like Family Feud, what exercises do you know that have the same shape as teaser? So anybody can go ahead and shout it out on which exercises have that same shape.
Open leg rocker.
Definitely. Anybody got another one? Same shape. So it's like a V shape, right? So it doesn't have to be the exact same position as teaser to be the same shape. So I'm going to just push it forward to the next slide. So if you're looking, so all the exercises, Who's that? Go for it.
No, I was thinking jackknife, sorry, but I was wondering because that's the one I've been focusing on as of late, and I didn't realize how close I was to teaser. So I'm excited to see that.
Right, exactly. So it's all the same shape, even though you're in an inversion when you do jackknife, it's still the same shape, right? So looking at roll up, same shape, even though your legs are on the ground and gravity's not taking them like they would be in teaser, you are still in the same shape when you go into that full forward reach, right? And you get that big C curve in the spine to go up and over. Same for rollover, same shape, right? Double leg stretch, same shape. Even though your spine is on the floor, you're extending those legs and those arms out, which are very necessary for teaser, right? And then we have our double leg stretch. Oh, sorry, I did that already. So spine stretch, same thing. You're seated, you're reaching forward, you're getting that big lift and length in your spine as you go into that forward reach. And then open leg rocker, as Robin said, same shape. You're just, you're balancing, your just legs are open, right? And you're holding onto your legs. And then corkscrew, if you're going into that full over version, right? With that rollover shape or that jackknife shape, if you're going all the way up. And then your neck pull, same shape, but the hands are behind the head, same shape, right? Going forward. And then jackknife going up and over. Now, of course, when you get up into that straight up jackknife, then the shape changes a bit, but pretty much so the same for having to articulate the spine. If you think on the way down, you're articulating that spine, comes into the same shape as teaser, right? So then that's just all that's before. There are many that are after, and that the rest that are left in the repertoire that come into that same shape. You're thinking like your hip circles going around your same shape right there, right? So good. All right, so there's just a quick list of some exercises that have the same shape, even though we already just went over them. One that I just threw in there is elephant. So for those that are into reformer, there's lots of reformer exercises, lots of chair exercises that have the same shape as teaser. I mean, just right off the top of my head is like tendon stretch on either the reformer or the chair, same shape as teaser. Elephant, all of your rocking exercises like that you do, all the same shape as teaser. And even if you think about it, what's that? Stomach massage on the reformer has a similar shape. And all of your rowing, your front rowing exercises, a lot of those have the same shape as teaser as well. So there's a lot of places that you can take somebody that is not as challenging per se as teaser to get them towards teaser, right? So mastering those exercises makes them one step closer to being able to do the teaser. All right, so we're gonna get moving here. And so thinking chest lift, tabletop legs, balance point, bridge, pelvic tilts, and reverse crunches are all pre-Pilates things that somebody can do to work up to teaser. And as a teacher, you are able to put them in these exercises, and you know automatically right away if your client can't do chest lift, barring any kind of like physicality thing or injury or something that doesn't allow them to do chest lift, the likelihood of them being able to do teaser goes way down, right? Because they can't, the whole part is just getting up and flexing the first time, all right, just to get up for teaser. So chest lift, definitely a huge precursor. And of course, I haven't talked about that shoulder and arm isolations, right? Being able to do angels, being able to lift the arm over the head. That is a place where somebody needs to be able to go to be able to do teaser. And then you, of course, as a teacher, would love to see them do those shoulder isolations so that you know if they can do that and if they need to leave their arms by their side because they can't lift their hands over their head, right? And then finding tabletop legs. So if they are unable to support even just having bent knees, tabletop legs, and have that open kinetic chain with the feet off the floor, then they're probably going to have a hard time lifting a fully straight leg up into a teaser and having that long lever reaching those legs all the way out, right? And then thinking balance point. If they are not able to maintain balance point, this goes hand in hand with pelvic tilts, right? Neutral spine. If they're not able to keep that pelvic tilt and stabilize, then they're going to have a harder time to be able to come up into teaser, and they might overshoot and those legs tip over, right? And then the other part is bridging. So if they're unable to articulate their spine, right, bridging lets you know if their spine's going to be coming down in chunks or not. So if they're doing that, they might have a hard time doing the roll up, and it's definitely rolling down in the teaser and separating those hip flexors and rocking that pelvis and letting those hip flexors turn off and lengthen back out, right? Then reverse crunches. Reverse crunches is going to let you know if they are able to support the weight, right, of those legs and the pelvis and move and articulate the spine with the pelvis and having those hips. So, and it also lets you know the strength of their abdominals, because it kind of goes like chest lift, low belly curl gets you into that, or reverse crunches is another name for it, low belly curl, right? And that's going to help you know about the spinal strength or core strength so that they can articulate their spine, right? Good. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? Nope. Okay. So I'm going to get over onto the mat here. So I'm going to stop my share. All right. And let's come over to the mat. So I'm going to put myself up on the big screen here. And okay. All right, so let's examine just some of the chest lift and pre-Pilates stuff getting into teaser. So you're ready to take somebody in, but as a teacher, you always are thinking about that SOAP note kind of thing. So you're looking at your subjective, objective, your assessment, and your plan to what you're going to teach your students, right? So actually we'll start down on the mat. So starting without any equipment is always nice with somebody so you can really see what their true movement abilities are, right? And so they're down, you're right here automatically thinking about chest lift, right? But before we go, I'm gonna just do the full teaser just so you can see what it looks like so you know where your client needs to go. And sometimes I will demonstrate to students, depends on the student, depends on the setting, if I'm gonna show them the full exercise or not. A lot of times I don't because that can definitely be defeating to them. I like to just take them through the progressions and then they look, you did it, right? And leave it there. But for the full teaser, arms are straight next to the ears, legs are straight. You're gonna slice those arms down the side, chest lift, right? Legs lift, and you're reaching up and out, right? For that teaser. But the arms can move, do all kinds of things, right? Legs can lower, lift, all of those different variations. And come back up, right? And then they'll lay down, right? Slice the arms by the side. Now that takes it into the super advanced place for teaser, but there's lots of places that you can start so that people are able to do it, right? So first, of course, you're starting off letting to know if they have a chest lift. Arms nice and long. You can start with an easy chest lift for somebody and then reach up, right? Finding that chest lift. They're imprinting the spine because you do know that they're going to have to imprint on the way up for their teaser, right? So maybe they're here and you play around with those arms lifting and moving and see if they can support those arms coming to the ears. Maybe you're getting that slice, letting them move those arms in relation to that chest lift. They need to be able to do that, right? To be able to do a teaser. So there's that place to start. And then starting off, finding them with those tabletop legs, challenging their core right here. Maybe you even have them imprint or you have them keep neutral, but you can do your toe taps right here, finding the strength in the legs. So they need to be able to support their legs and they need to be able to turn on the back side of their legs so that they can support the legs when they're up. And that helps to deactivate the hip flexors so that they're not gripping. I mean, of course they're working, the hip is flexed, but it helps it so that they're not gripping tightly and they are balanced with the back side of the leg, right? So finding that, getting them to turn those glutes on is always nice for getting them ready for that teaser. And maybe you're here, right? And you're straightening those legs. See if they can straighten their legs, because if they have a hard time straightening the legs, they got super tight hammies, their legs are down here, they're probably gonna have a hard time getting up in that teaser because it does require a lot of length in the backside of the leg so that that pelvis can rock and nutate when they are going into that teaser, right? So there's that place. Maybe you're taking them into their pelvic tilt. So feet are down, arms are down, finding that support, knowing that they can work the upper body and the lower body, pushing the hands into the ground, pushing the feet into the floor, and finding that pelvic tilt. So they need to be able to disassociate the hips and the pelvis, rocking those hips, right? Finding that pelvic tilt. And then you're starting to look at their spine articulation and see the quality of that and being able to move the pelvis from neutral to a tilt, and then letting them come up into their bridge, noting if they can move in the chest and articulate down, upper back, mid back, low back, hollowing out that ab. So they do need to be able to get the hollow body. So if they're having a hard time getting a hollow body, then they need to work on these bridges a little bit more in a nice closed chain place for them to get up there, right? Up and down. And then watching their rib cage control. Are their ribs flaring out every time? And teaser, they may lose balance if those ribs are flaring out all the time, right? So rolling down, up and down. So lots of information that you get just from watching them do a bridge to know if they're going to be able to get up and do a teaser, right? Now, we talked about low belly curl. So they're able to hold their legs up. Now with that low belly curl, then we saw that they can move their pelvis, articulate their spine. Now you're going to kind of put some of those together. Now it's open chain. Can they tilt their pelvis, but keep their legs in the same place, right? So you can bring your arm, you can push your foot there, put some feedback so that they can tilt their pelvis without their knees pulling back to their chest. So that would be the start. Rock the pelvis, because they need to be able to rock that pelvis to be able to do that teaser. And then maybe put them together, rock and tilt. Good. And you're tilting it back. Good. And that's it. Good. And now, then from here, you can add into doing straight leg version. So if they can straighten that leg up, maybe their legs are staying here and they're working on their pelvic tilt without letting their legs move on that. So that in itself is a pretty good workout. And then maybe they're doing the tilt and pushing up, right? Pushing into the arms, tilt, and lift the legs, lift the bum off the ground. Right? So that would be another option. Or just going into that curl and getting that full low belly curl, reverse crunch here, right? Good. So there's a good place to be able to go for that, and taking somebody up into it. Now, rollover is only like one step away. If you start getting into more of the Pilates exercises, roll up, roll over, start to be those first two exercises that really have the same shape as the teaser. So at this place, might be bringing the feet down. Can they do a full sit-up? If they can do a full sit-up, then teaser is going to be a pretty, not too far away, right, for them to be able to go for that full sit-up. So that could be that try, right? So this is all without props, of course, and then we can always add props in if they're unable to do that full sit-up. So starting here is half of a teaser, right? Slicing those arms, chest lift up, right? They're starting to reach up, full sit-up, right? They don't have to come all the way up, right? They're about halfway with that teaser and then lifting the chest, right? Coming into that teaser because they would be on the sacrum for their balance, right? And then coming down. Of course, if they're not able to do that full sit-up on their own, there could be a hip gripping problem. Those hip flexors are really holding on tight. And there could be articulation, like maybe the spine needs a little stretching before they can come into that full, or maybe there's just a little more strength. So sometimes lack of flexibility, lack of mobility can inhibit, not just strength, right? Because I've definitely seen people who are very strong that should be able to do it, you would think muscularly, but they have a lack of flexibility in their spine, so they're not able to actually flex forward. There could be other things, right? Maybe they have a short waist, those bones are hitting each other before they can get up there. So looking beyond the strength of a person and to see why they're not able to get up. So somebody's teaser might look different than another person's teaser. So other ways, since we're in this place of where you start to get to a place where people might need to be using props, you can always hold their feet for the sit-up place, where they can anchor their feet on something, and it makes it much easier to get up when they're anchored. But here's that place where you can do some drills with somebody, right? Maybe they're working on rocking that pelvis. Now their legs are fixed, they're definitely in that closed chain, and since their legs are fixed, they can rock their pelvis, and you can work on that concept with them, being able to lay it out, right? Maybe they're gonna do some crunches here, working their way up and down, all the way down, and so that they can work through the abdominal wall and be able to work on that articulation up and down. They can also grab something to help them on the way down if they need a little extra support for their spine and the weight of their torso, as well as to be able to slow it down, right? And this one could go a little higher. Let's see. All right, so anchoring the feet still, having those straight arms. I like to have them push down So there's strength, those lats are turned on, and then they're able to work on that rock, right? Rocking that pelvis, articulating all the way through, getting that lumbar to imprint. So having bent knees is going to make it easier to imprint that lumbar. And same thing on the way up, they're going to lift up. They can keep some tension in there. They can lift up to go up, push down to go down, right? So getting a little arm strength, working on that as they go through it, right? Up and down, a little there. And they can also use bands on the feet. So if there's no tower or anything for them to hold on to with the bands or springs, they can put around their feet nice and wide and use this to work on the rock. Right, so working on those drills, the concepts that are needed to break down that teaser, right, all the way down and through and letting that head touch. Same thing with the arms, push up, create tension to come up, right? Keep that tension to roll down to get support. If the band gets loose, then there's no support. And so all the way up and down. So of course you can work on any drills and working their way through the spine so that they can, if they got little chunks that are sticking together, maybe stop there and do some crunch work, stretching it out, okay? And then there's the magic circle. So that one's always a fun one. And they can have it on the foot, follow the foot here, toes are free. And that circle, so it's no longer a circle, you want to push with the foot, pull with the arms to create an oval shape, okay? So that oval shape stays there, right? And already here, working on that hamstring length is fantastic for teaser because you really do need that hamstring stretch. And the leg, they can work on, can they pull it back here? They can pull teaser, right? Teaser shape here, even though it's only one leg. All right, so you can get that teaser shape where they need to be able to go. Keep that oval. Even when they're back here with that leg, you're still creating that oval so the back of the leg is turned on to push. Arms are pulling, right? And you can push with that leg, always pulling with that arm, and then the spine is able to come up and be free. All right, so still pushing, still having that oval. And then just watching the quality of the leg, so the back of the leg isn't hyperextending too much, so that you really do get full strength working here and pushing up. All right, and there's that point where they're finding that teaser and they can lift that chest, the heart, open things up, shoulders down, so bringing a little more awareness into that shoulder girdle for them. And of course, you want to do both sides, and you're working up to 2 feet, so same thing, oval, right, working those ankles. It's always nice to get those guys warmed up, calves warmed up, so that they can work on their chest lift. So even if they're only starting here at the top, right, with the head and chest working on the chest lift and the legs, they're still getting the teaser shape, even though they're not all the way up on their balance, right? So pushing forward, right, with those feet is gonna help bring them up. So back of the leg is really what's doing most of the work here for me. Everything else is just working to stay pretty stable, right? And then they get to that point where they can lift the chest and find that teaser. Right, but here, of course, the test is always being able to take it off. Can they hold it? Can they move their arms? Can you do things while you're holding that teaser, right? And I just want to step back 1 second, though, because when we were here at the bars, there's another place they can bring their feet. So they don't have to have the feet down low. They can work their way up, right, with the legs, work the way up, but still have a closed chain and still be able to work in that teaser place with the legs up a little higher. Okay, so just working your way up, progressing from the floor up to straight legs. Maybe they're going one legs. It really depends on what you choose. Like maybe one foot is on, one foot is off, like they're holding, right, floating that leg, working to go up and down, but still being able to articulate the spine. So it is definitely a telltale of hip flexors gripping if that leg keeps going back and forth with them every single time they move. Right, so the leg can be able to stay in one place and the pelvis can rock and the spine can articulate. It is definitely a place that we want to go with people doing their teaser. Okay, so hopefully those were some helpful tips on getting into teaser. I'd love to take some questions and about the different components and whatever questions come up for you as well.
I don't have a question per se, Lincola. This is Jennifer speaking, by the way.
Mhm.
I'm just that you broke down because it was so great. I hope I listed them all, but it was like 12 different steps in a sense to get to it, and then 4 types of modifications. So thank you so much. That was wonderful to see. And thank you for demonstrating it for us as well. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of steps. So it definitely shows you that you can, there's so many places to go just to go do that one exercise. Like you can make like multiple classes just to get to that one exercise for somebody if that's their goal, right?
Yeah, very much so. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, Nika, Robin, you have any questions, comments, concerns, or any case study type stuff that you have going on with teaching?
No questions. I'm kind of tuned in on something else too, so I can't.
No worries. Yeah, I know you're working.
No, I don't have any questions. It seemed pretty straightforward. I know you've worked with me on using the ring before, and that was very helpful for me to start learning how to get better at it. So, yeah,
Good. How's that coming for you?
it was great. Like I'm able to do it now without it. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about how far you come when you just keep practicing. Because like before, I couldn't even like you were telling me, like you just need to become aware that of moving the pelvis. So
Right. And then once it
yeah.
clicks on, it's like riding a bike. You're like, oh, it's moving now. It's doing what it should do. Like everything's falling in
Yeah.
that sequence, right? And that's one way
Yeah.
I really like to look at things is like it's like that sequence that it's going, right? For where whether how the body's moving, like, you know, from head to toe, toe to head, like is it flowing? How fluid does that movement look? And it's like as a teacher too, especially just if you're starting off as a teacher, it's like if it doesn't look the way you feel like it should look, like there's that little nagging thing you're saying, ah, that just doesn't look right. Like you know, so generally there is something, and maybe you can't put your finger on it right then of what it was like in the spine, but like I find that looking at that sequencing from head to toe, toe to head, and just calling back on all of those other things that you've learned in the beginning of pre-Pilates and whatnot about movement, that you're like, okay, that's what it is. So, because it's easy to get overwhelmed when there's a lot of clients in the room and a lot of things going on, but really honing in on that little thing that's really happening through the exercise is just, yeah, looking at the sequence. Like, did all the steps get checked? Did the spine lay out one bone at a time? Did the pelvis move? All that stuff that goes in one order, right? In that order. Definitely. Cool. I'm so excited. That was fun to just break it down. Of course, there's like so many more things that you can add in there and so many different more props that can come into play to teach somebody how to do teaser, because like literally teaser is in every piece of equipment throughout the Pilates repertoire. So like even just showing on the mat, right? Like thinking about taking the teaser to the reformer, taking the teaser to the barrel, the chair, or even doing it on the Cadillac, you know. So there's a lot of places that in Pilates where the teaser is located. So like, but these concepts on the mat hold true to even those teasers, right? So getting them, if you don't have pieces of equipment, this when you get to them, you'll be like, yay, I got it on the mat. You're going to be doing it on the other pieces of equipment pretty well, right? Of course, there's always a learning curve for equipment, but if you can do it on the mat, you can do it on the equipment. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for coming. I just want to put this out there. So if you do want to watch the recordings, you can always go to the Pilates Launch community. And I'm just going to share my screen real quick, right? And let's go to full screen. Go. That's right. You can see it. So you can always go to the recordings will be in the Pilates Launch community, and they all live there. Every session we do for one of these, they all go there. So you can start checking out the library and tune back in. And it is a $35 a month membership, but right now we do have 2-week complimentary sessions or pass rather, to be able to come in and check things out, take class, and see if you want to be a part of the community. So feel free to do that. I can put in the chat the link if you're wanting, or you can just go to the website, for the 14-day free and check on the schedule. If you see something you want, then you can do it. So if you do look at the schedule at this link, it is just the regular schedule. This one is where I do put the Pilates oriented classes. But if you do want to get into the business side of Pilates and learning how to do different things, we've got a lot of really great workshops coming up for the next month and two coming up. So things just talking about how to do lead magnets and stuff about different little things like email, like automation, or like writing copy posts, optimizing your social media, are all going to be coming up for our business side of Pilates. So definitely say it's good to get in on that. And with the Pilates Lunch community, that does give you access to the business side of the webinars as well as the Pilates side. But if you just want to do Pilates side, you're more than welcome to do the $25 a month membership. But $35, $10 more, you get to get into doing the business side of it. And the recordings are going to be always there, right? So whether you catch them live or catch the recording, they will be put into the Pilates Launch Community on demand section. So you can do it for 14 days free right now. So definitely please check that out. And of course, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your attention. And before we finish out, if you do have any more questions, by all means, because I know sometimes they pop in like at random times when you have a question.
Thanks so much, Nicole. I'm going to sign off.
All right. Thank you so much for coming, Robin. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.